Faithful to God, it's been brought to my attention that you're in talks with someone who just one day claims to be Eastern Orthodox, even though he's not been practicing, catechized, or entered the church through baptism or chrismation. I've been a confessing, believing, baptized, chrismated Eastern Orthodox Christian for 10 years. So, about icons. Well, first of all, I would say that don't this person deal with them as they are, which is a fraud. Second of all, iconography. If you read the canons of the Seventh Ecumenical Council, no Eastern Orthodox Christian need ever venerate an icon, nor ask any of the saints or the Theotokos for intercession. Though it is wrong to say it is heretical. Why? Well, because the second commandment was given, right? Well, what about, the other commandment, thou shalt not kill? Well, it actually means murder, not just thou shalt not kill. If the second commandment meant you can't make any images whatsoever, and not worship but reverence them, then the Ark of the Covenant with the cherubim on it would be blasphemy, and so would the bronze serpent, so would all the iconography in the Old Testament, and so would God having his Son come down in the living image of the Father. In the New Testament, we read Galatians chapter 3, verse 1, talking to the Galatians of northern Anatolia, people who did not witness, who were Gentiles, who did not witness crucifixion. You, with your own eyes, have seen Christ portrayed as crucified. Now that word portrayed or depicted, some people say, well, it could mean written, because graphe means, writing or picture. Well, how can you see with your own eyes Christ as crucified? Christ written as crucified? No, Christ depicted or portrayed as crucified. Not to mention that the practice of iconography has gone on throughout the entirety of the church. Even the writing of the hostile pagans mention iconography, and every oldest church and oldest synagogue ever found had icons in there. They are meant to be read and are a teaching tool. If you reverence the Bible, if you wouldn't throw it in a pile of shit, if you would have reverence for it, not worship, but reverence, is that blasphemy? What about the cross? If a Muslim put a gun to your head and said, trample the cross and will save your life, would you do it? Iconography is not idol worship. It can be, and I don't doubt that the Roman Catholics have strayed into idolatry by making images of the Father and by making three-dimensional images and obscuring the canons of the Seventh Ecumenical Council. But I don't accuse all of them of being idolaters. But the fact is that iconography is part and parcel of Christianity, and the theology behind it is to destroy the Docete, like Marcion, who claims that Christ was an apparition. No, he wasn't. The bronze serpent was a great icon until it was being worshipped, not revered, and then it had to be destroyed, as the Nahashtun. The Ark of the Covenant, the tabernacle, the cherub, all that stuff. If you would have gone into ancient Israel and you would have seen the priest bowing towards the ark, you would have said that's their idol. Well, what's the difference between an idol and an icon? One is revered, one is worshipped. The images of the saints only point us to the fact that there's only one God. That's it. So then, just like the ark points to there being one God, even though you see two cherubim, which were worshipped as gods by the pagans, they'd say, oh, those two cherubim on the mercy seat, those are their two main gods. No, their wings were outstretched and the Spirit of God dwelt in between them. So it pointed to one God. So, people will say, oh, well, I knew a woman from Guatemala who worshiped the Virgin Mary like God. Well, that's heresy. I'd love for you to get back to me on this, and I'd love to help you out with your problem of this wacko who's claiming to be Orthodox, even though he's never been to an Eastern Orthodox parish, never been catechized, and doesn't seem to have read the early church fathers. Peace to you.